If you walk away from Anna Fariss' new book, Unqualified, obsessing over the Chris Pratt passages, that doesn't necessarily make you a gossip. He appears throughout its pages, which Faris obviously wrote before the couple announced their separation in August. As the Times reports, Faris made minor revisions to the book, which is based on her advice podcast, Anna Fariss' Unqualified, but decided not to drastically alter or postpone the publication. Pratt still wrote the foreword. She still thanks him in the acknowledgments. There's a chapter where they discuss how fame impacts a marriage. It's an odd thread she draws from her own life to give relationship advice without ever acknowledging the current state of her relationship. Is she withholding the truth, then, or is this book a time capsule? Either way, you feel sad and compelled reading it. Here, 9 stories that linger. Advertisement. Continue reading BELOWBUY the book for MORE1. Chris rescued Anna from her high school reunion. She was there for an hour when it started to feel like high school, meaning shady for your sense of self. Chris drove down and picked me up, as we'd planned, and it did feel a bit like the lion rescuing the lioness from the highness. It was amazing to watch their reaction as he came through the door. He was all movie star. There was a collective gasp as he whisked me away, and, yes, that was fairly satisfying. Point 2. She ate a fly on one of their dates. The relationship felt so different than my previous ones. It was laughter all the time. On one of our first dates, we were in a restaurant and Chris swatted at a fly. It was on the table and still kind of partially moving, so I grabbed it and popped it in my mouth and ate it. It was weird and gross and impulsive, but spoke to that part of me that indulgently wants to freak people out. I was taking a gamble that it would pay off and he'd be impressed, and it paid off. Point 3. She helped him hook up with other women before they were a couple. They became friends and fell for each other on the set of Take Me Home Tonight. He was hooking up with some of the cute background actresses, and I eventually started acting as his wingwoman. I loved it, and was so impressed with myself for being the cool girl who helped him hook up with hotties. But then I found myself feeling incredibly jealous of said hotties, and started to wonder what the fuck was going on in my head. Point 4. She taught him a tough lesson about being punctual. When she and Chris started dating, he was chronically late. One evening, Anna cooked him dinner because he was supposed to be at her house in 30 minutes. An hour passed, he still wasn't there, so she left. I wanted some consideration. I had to set boundaries, because I was so wary of feeling bulldozed in any way. When Chris finally showed up at my house, he called me in a panic and I told him where I was, at a restaurant on Hollywood Boulevard by myself. After that, Chris was always on time. 5A. She once tried to find out his number. Hers was 5. Chris told me that whatever I'd done and whomever I'd done it with, it didn't bother him and he didn't need to know. That, in turn, made me feel pretty embarrassed. I had been not so subtly searching for how many women had been with, and I'm confident it was a lot. More than 4 or 5. He was casual and cool about it when I finally tried to get it out of him. I don't know, he kept saying. I really don't know. That an advertisement. Continue reading below. 5B. She kinda wishes her own number was higher. Looking back now, I wish I had slept with more people, simply so I could learn to be a better lover and know how to tackle more positions and make better noises. I am not envious of the people I know who have slept with only 3 people, but my friend who can't even count the people she's slept with, I'm envious of that. That's a study abroad program that I just never went on. But I don't think I can change the part of me that has sex with a lot of emotional investment. Point 6. She was hurt by the Jennifer Lawrence rumors. For a long time, I felt really lucky. Even though Chris was becoming hugely famous and I'd been sort of famous for a while, the two of us led such boring lives that the tabloids usually left us alone. But when Chris filmed Passengers with Jennifer Lawrence, that all changed. Before Chris and Jennifer even met, Anna's publicist warned her that the paparazzi would have a feeding frenzy. There are going to be shots of them laughing together on their way to set, her publicist told her. There are going to be stories circulating, and you have to brace yourself for this. I didn't think it would bother me. But then, when it actually started and magazines began running rumors, it was totally hurtful. Point 7. She asked Chris to help fix one of Hollywood's many problems. Namely, the fact that a man's on-screen love interest is so often played by a woman decades his junior. It doesn't feel great to work really hard for nearly 20 years in this town and then worry you won't get hired again because you're no longer fuckable. In a moment of insecurity, I have definitely asked Chris, as you have more and more influence in casting your movies, will you think about someone closer to Rachel McAdams' age? She's 38. Getty 8. They acknowledge how their different levels of fame impacted their relationship. In the chapter where they discuss being a famous couple, Anna writes, "Sometimes I feel like I don't have the career that I used to, and I do have moments of insecurity about that. I'm so thrilled and grateful that you are doing the things you are, and I have crazy pride in the fact that your talents are recognized, but it can be hard not to have a moment of self-doubt when my husband is acting with young women in big movies and I'm playing a role in Mom, that, while I love it, is incredibly unsexy." Point 9. She still thinks he's about the best person I know. She thanks him in her acknowledgments, saying, "I love our late nights conjuring up ideas for projects and characters and talking about the rabbits. Chris, thank you for the impossible amount of support and love. Thank you for being just about the best person I know. I love you. I wish we had more words for love."